Once more to Njenje Media TV. This is a series organized by Njenje Media TV titled The State of the Nation Series. As a series, this is to drive and deepen conversations around good governance and leadership questions to help to hold to account opinion molders and those who are anticipating to come into governance. This is a weekly series. Our guests are selected across various strata of the society, which includes but not limited to politics leaders, community leaders, religious leaders, and community mobilizers, and many more. Now, as you are aware, we have had this in the past. We have had the privilege of having people like Sam Ohuabunwa, and we have had Ade Malik Ado. We have had people like Pete Obi, and we have had also someone like Dele Momodu here. I have the privilege today to have one of those that many, as long as this platform is concerned, have heard him speak on so many national issues concerning Nigeria. My guest today is no other person than the erudite professor of International Relations and Strategic Studies, who is also the director, Buratai Center for Contemporary Security Affairs. He is, today as we speak, a 2023 presidential aspirant in the Social Democratic Party, the SDP. I have the privilege of having Professor Femi Olufunmilade in the house. Professor, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mazi. It's my delight to be here.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let's get the ball rolling. Prof, recently you have declared to run for the office, which in 2011, 2014, 15, when the merger occurred, and in 2019, you supported the current president in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari. Today, you are throwing your hat in the ring. And when you declared within the academic community. What informed your decision to join this race and not to support any other person, Prof?
Well, my highly respected friend, Mazi, okay. The main reason why I decided to join this race this time around is because I find it very difficult to see aspirants who can, give Nigeria a new lease of life in the race, especially in the two dominant parties, the APC and the PDP. I see people that are tired, that are old, that have been in government at one time or the other and didn't perform any magic, being the leading candidates in those two leading parties, leading aspirants rather. And since I'm not new to this game as an observer and someone who works in the background, I realized that it is among those people that the candidate of these two parties are likely to emerge ultimately. And I couldn't see anything extraordinary happening thereafter to this country. Meanwhile, our problems as a country have become even more complex. Is it insecurity? Insecurity has acquired a new level of complexity. Is it economy? The economy has reached a stage now where the federal government does not even have enough resources to pay its own staff. And it has to go and borrow it to even pay its staff, not to talk of spending on developmental projects. Almost everything is tied to debt and more loans. And you think of the percentage of the budget that now goes into debt servicing, and you are bound to tremble. And on a daily basis, more loans are being shopped for here and there. And you wonder, are they selling the country finally, or what is really happening? So the problems are such that we will need the very best brains that this country can offer in various sectors to turn things around and save this country from total imminent collapse. I, of course, have people that I look forward to, or I look up to, rather, in my field, in the academia generally, and in other walks of life, that if they step out, I will step behind them and queue and say, lead us. But unfortunately, none of them is really showing any interest. Of course, there are some individuals that you can say they are technocrats. They are, they appear to be knowledgeable people who have ventured into the race, but unfortunately and sadly, they do not have the kind of political experience that it will require for them to make any impact in a political contest in this country, the way I understand it. I have been part and parcel of the political process since 1998, when I was involved in the formation of Alliance for Democracy. I was political assistant to Olechi Bolage, who was the leading light in the formation of that party. And I was by his side when we toured the nook and cranny of this country, selling the party to Nigerians and fielding candidates on his platform. And there was also CPC, Congress for Progressive Change, which INEC reluctantly registered just about 3 months to the 2011 presidential election. I formed that from the scratch for General Buhari to contest on his platform. And I worked with the likes of Engineer Abubakar Galadima, Malam Suleyama, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, the current Minister of Water Resources, and the rest. And I know how we were able to navigate the murky water of Nigerian politics, where money was everything, but without money, we were able to pull about 12 million plus votes, and we were able to also get the poorest of the poor in this country, the so-called Almajiris, to even contribute money to our campaign and to police our votes, to monitor our votes free of charge. They thought it was impossible, but it happened. An election in which all the money we were able to pull together was no more than 800 million plus. So at a time when PDP was giving 3 billion per state for that election. So it is against this background, Mazi, that I said, if I know what is required to turn things around, and I understood the political terrain, why can't I throw my hat in the ring? Of course, that wasn't just what pushed me. There was, of course, people that also strengthened my resolve and said, look, go ahead and give it a shot. Let the people have the benefit of an alternative, someone that knows his onions. And I did this an 18-chapter book that encapsulates my plans and programs for the country if elected president in various sectors. How I will fight insecurity is there. How I will provide robust defense for the country is there. How I will industrialize the country, how I will make power generation and everybody's endeavor and to make it adequate and stable. All those things are there. So this is because I cannot afford to follow someone that I don't really have that conviction. He has got what it takes to do the magic, because you need nearly almost a magic to turn Nigeria around the way things are now. So that's why I'm in the race.
Go ahead, Prof. So, Prof, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. So the question is, now, so if Nigerians accuse you of, some Nigerians who do not like what the current government is doing, when I remember one of the interviews we did have, and a lot of comments there were saying, well, you were part of those that brought the calamity, quote unquote, I mean, in their words, not mine, saying that you were part of those that brought the calamity to them. Now, the question is part of the reason why you are coming in to contest is to correct that calamity that you brought upon them?
Well, my brother, I don't really buy that thinking or that notion. This country, as it is now, got into where it is under the PDP regime. It's not something that began with the APC regime.
Well, but you mentioned now, you said, you talked, when you were in your intro, you talked about loan, and you talked about how loan has ballooned. And did loan didn't balloon under PDP?
That doesn't mean let me tell you, there were things that the PDP administration should have done that they didn't do. They had a good railway master plan, but they didn't really scratch it on the head. They just did something like half-heartedly. There was no railway that was really operational till they left office, and they were there for 16 years. And at a time when Nigeria got the most accruals from oil, when oil for a long time was selling for over $100 per barrel. We had so much money, and so much that the former President Obasanjo was even able to get the debt burden of $34 billion off our neck. But he tried, Obasanjo tried, but the subsequent ones, they didn't really justify the resources at their disposal. So when the Buhari administration came and he had infrastructure as one of the things that he prioritized, he decided that anyhow, there are infrastructure it will want to leave behind as a legacy. The functional railway system is one of the things he zeroed in on. Second Niger Bridge, some major interstate roads like Lagos, Ibadan, and the rest. And since they realized there was really no, the money available to them, oil price had gone down seriously, and they decided they must do these things. They were ready to get money by any means. And that was what led to this loan upon loan upon loan that they started taking. I don't believe it was the best route to take. But it would be wrong to now say the problem began with Buhari. No. My disagreement with Buhari is in the matter of approach. There are other funding options it could have explored. For instance, build, operate, and transfer, BOT option is there. It's a question of marketing what you have adequately enough, and you are likely to get those who would want to buy into it. But they are in a hurry, and they just can't, they don't seem to be ready to wait even a second. Anybody who is ready to provide the money, they will take it. So it is possible, for instance, to bring these same Chinese people and do a kind of a long-term lease on some of these railway routes to them. Build it and recover your money. It could be for 30 years, it could be for 40 years, it could be for 50 years. That will not bring debt upon the country. That will ensure that the rail service is efficient and available and affordable, because it's not going to be dogged by corruption, because it's not government of Nigeria that owns it. It has to be affordable to the people, because if it's not affordable, the people will not patronize it. And it has to be efficient and stable in its services. Otherwise, people, it will still not get them back the money expended on it. So that is an option that the Buhari administration did not follow. So, but to answer you generally that, oh, I'm one of those who brought Buhari administration and then upon this country. Every Nigerian who voted participated in that. If we are to apportion blame, then every Nigerian who voted, every Nigerian who campaigned for APC and produced Buhari as president then is also guilty, not just me. Maybe I may take some huge, if they want to share the blame, of course, a greater chunk of it will go to me because I started from the scratch, laundering his image, bombarding the public sphere with promotional articles, etc., about him. And let me tell you that I have no regrets even for doing that because I had the best of intention for the country. Buhari is not a man that gives anybody money. And we have been with him as long distance runners. Buhari never gave me 1 naira. Rather, over the years, I've spent my money campaigning for Buhari. I will be in Abuja 2-3 months in his presidential campaign center, spending money on my hotels, flight here and there, at my own, all of us that were really there, mostly intellectuals, that volunteered ourselves. I remember Chris Ehirim of blessed memory, NUJ chairman of Abuja. He was there too. It was a pan-Nigerian affair. Osita Okechukwu, also from the East, and so on and so forth. MB Shehu from New York. He will always come in. He's a cosmopolitan. And we did it because we believed he had zero tolerance for corruption. He's a disciplinarian. I investigated Buhari privately. I went to his house in Daura to survey it. There was no even interlocking in his compound. It was just a modest bungalow that anybody could build. And the only sign that this house could belong to an important person was just one policeman I saw there. I visited his house in Kaduna. I told him the day I first visited his house in Kaduna on Sultan Road, I said, Your Excellency, I can tell you, you are not a pretender. If you have stolen money from the things I've done by way of reconnaissance about your person, there will have been a slip somewhere. Look at your house. An assistant director in Abuja will ask better house than this. His sitting room was hardly big. It was not as big as my own. So and then I interacted with him and asked him that, are we going to see something similar to what you did in terms of making sure you have zero tolerance for corruption, there will be discipline in the way public affairs is conducted? And the response was positive. So it was on that basis, we said, whatever it would take, you don't have money, you don't have resources, you don't have the gift of eloquence like Obama, but we will pull our talents together with the intellectuals that are with you, and we will try to make sure you become president. So that was the motivation.
Okay.
If after getting there, he has deviated or he has not performed up to expectation, you can forgive us that we are humans after all.
Prof, let's not dwell much on that. Now, in that, as you just rightly said, if we go back to that APC once more, before we move to your campaign proper, you have a chapter of the APC manifesto to your credit. Would you say that that part of your contribution has seen the light of day, or that that has, as the larger perception of Nigerians, that has been also been neglected or was neglected? Prof, are you there?
My dear, the thing is that I wrote 2 aspects of the APC manifesto or collection of policy papers: defense policy and foreign policy. The aspect on foreign policy, I recommended, among other things, economic diplomacy. That is, our economic interest, since our economy is not in good shape, in dealing with other countries, things that can help boost our economy should be of paramount interest to us, should be our focus. I can tell you that I think about the time the vice president was serving as acting president, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they did a kind of launch on a new policy trust for Nigerian foreign policy, and it was economic diplomacy. That is, my recommendation was the plank of the new trust of the Nigerian foreign policy. So to that extent, even if I had not seen so much of what I would have expected, I would say at least formally, it has been adopted. That's the foreign policy direction I proposed. In terms of defense policy, I would say that has not been touched in any way, because I recall that one of the cornerstones of what I believe Nigerian defense policy should be is the establishment of an indigenous military industrial complex. What that means is that you have a defense industry that manufactures some of your military equipment, some of your hardwares.
But they are doing that now. They are doing part of it.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, DICON, Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, established in 1964, about the same time that of Brazil was established, has not produced anything. What talking about? There was a time under Obasanjo when he said they had to do some rifles, and they toyed with it.
In recent time, we saw, I think, pardon me, I can't remember this name. There was a general that an armored tank was named after, and that armored tank is produced in Nigeria. Is that not in line with your proposition?
Well, that is not. Maybe what you have in mind is a company in my area, in Ishonremo, called Prof.
That's not Prof. This is
manufactures armor tanks and exports. This may surprise Nigerians. And it has been doing that long before this administration came into power. And it has been exporting even to Zimbabwe for some years now. So, okay. But what happens in the army, let me tell you, they do some refurbishment. The Air Force does it too. There were some jet fighters that they tried to retool on their own, so that, because they realized there was no money to bring in new fighter jets. And so all those refurbishment, they do not amount to having a defense industrial complex. You should have a maintenance unit in a country that has...
Prof, because of time, let's move quickly. Prof, you are an Awoist. At the same time, you are a student of Bola Ige. Now,
it's the same thing.
Well, you know,
Bola Ige too is just as a senior Awoist. And I'm glad to note that today is Awolowo's birthday.
Wow, what a great day.
Yes, if he were alive, he would have turned, I think, 100 and he was born in 1909. So remove 9 from 122. He will have been 113 years today.
Now, Prof, I'm getting somewhere with that question. You know, today, in their pragmatic way of thinking, there is a concept that many have argued that it wouldn't work in Nigeria. Now you have joined a party that is neither of the two main political parties, the PDP and the APC. You've joined the SDP and hoping to fly their flag. There are two questions to this. One is, in the party you've joined, there are men of deep pockets. And there is this conversation of SDP being part of what they call the third force. And if that be the case, what are your chances and what will be your strategy of emerging as the SDP candidate, candidate?
Well, Mazi, I'm not new to the SDP. I came into the SDP in 2018. And the reason why I'm there is not because it's the only alternative party available, but because of its manifesto of social democracy. Its philosophy and creed align with my own ideological orientation. It prioritizes the people first. You know, it believes that there are certain basics of life that every society, every decent society should guarantee to its citizens. Education is one of them. Health, access to health care, affordable, free, is also part of it. Integrated rural development that will provide jobs and ensure that the country is able to take care of most of its consumer goods that can be produced within the ambit of its resources, etc. So for me, mine is to let the people in the party see what I have to offer. Theirs is to decide whether I am the right person for the job or not. But I believe that even in this old country, among those who have ventured to come out to say they want to contest, the fact that I sat down and produced an 18-chapter presidential policy book titled For the Good of Our People, a Nigerian manifesto, which is available in soft copy online. You go to my website, it's there, and several copies have been, dispatched and distributed here and there, is to tell them that this man is the man we need, because what he will do if our focus is translating our philosophy, our creed into practice is concerned, he has a roadmap in his hands. So when you now talk about deep pockets, well, if the deep pocket means somebody that will ensure we remain where we are by coming to dole out money to people and not let people take their decision as to who should fly the ticket of the party objectively, but to look at rather an ephemeral, transient, spur of the moment share of money that doesn't give anybody breakthrough. And on the basis of that, they decide, okay, this is our man. Well, everybody will regret, they will have cause to regret it for the next 4 years after the man has come to power. And some of them, it can even lead to their death when they go to a hospital where they need the emergency attention and the basics to revive them are not there. It can be their children, everybody. It could be through road accidents, God forbid, when you don't know there is a huge pothole on a smooth road and then you suddenly land yourself in it. It has happened there and there. I have experienced a similar thing, and it was just by the grace of God. That's why I maintain a minimum speed for myself when I'm traveling, because every Nigerian road is like an uncharted terrain. So if that is what they want, and I don't think that is what they want, because I've interacted with quite a number of them, and they said their goal is power. And if you want to get power as a party that wants to upstage the party in power now, you must have something better. I am the kind of person they should be proud to present before Nigerians. I'm the kind of person that is not scared of engaging anybody in a presidential debate, that they should be the one, rather, with all humility, that should be scared of being paired with me to come and engage in a presidential debate. So I've got a lot going for me, which intellectually, in terms of knowledge, and in terms of the constituency I come from, mind you, in case you don't know, the entire academia are going to rise up to support me, because I will be the face of our campuses, whether universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, and what have you, because they know that once I get there, all the things they've been complaining about, I'm going to address them positively. Prof. And they should know in the party that if the entire academic community in Nigeria, there is no state in Nigeria that doesn't have up to 10 higher institutions, private, public state, private federal state, whether polytechnic, whether universities, whether colleges of education, whether school of nursing and all the rest. If the entire academic communities in each state or staff and students in their hundreds of thousands decide to go for it, they are going to win. I will be the winner. So how does a party throw away such a candidate with such prospect and go for somebody else?
The question is, we appreciate where you're coming from, but how would you then convince the academia across board? You know, because obviously you know that up till now, there are conversations with the the labor union, or rather with the Ministry of Labor under Dr. Chris Ngige, that you have these disagreements. As you are aware, ASU has just basically gone on strike. What is it that you're going to tell them to make them believe you that once you come, and how are you going to find that money that this government is not able to provide that will make them, stop?
Mazi, let me tell you, maybe we all need to go and read a book by Chief Femi Olufunmilade, whose birthday is today. The Problems of Africa, Need for Ideological Reappraisal. My takeaway from that book in a nutshell.
Prof, I think at this point you're frozen.
Is that, look, it's a matter community, is the right to me. You are with me, Mazi?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. If you believe the academic community is the place to prioritize as the foundation for national development, that is where research into the housing, roads, industry, agriculture, that is where innovation takes place, new machineries are invented and all that, then you will, if you know that is so strategic and foundational to national development, then you are not going to allow them to be going on strike for months. You are not going to allow them to be scavenging to survive. So it's a matter of priority. I will prioritize the place. And the issue of money not being enough is a matter of priority. There are lots of things that money is going into that don't seem to be worth it. The whole money that they are talking about that have accumulated, I asked one of the ASU leaders, is about 1.2 trillion. And it has accumulated to this extent because they have not been forthcoming in paying in line with the 2009 agreement with ASU. We are talking of over a decade agreement. So I being one of them, the least and then this year's budget, 7.something% went to education. Whereas the United Nations benchmark is about 26% of your annual budget. So for me, I'm going to put that money there. I will prioritize not just the universities, but the tertiary institutions, because they are so important to national development. Ensure that they are adequately funded, get the best of laboratories, get the best of workshops, make sure they are well remunerated. It's a matter of priority. It will be my priority. And the money they say is not available, you need to prioritize. Take money from some areas that are not worth it and put it where money is.
Sorry, Prof, you just said it here that we have 7.something% as education budget. Isn't that clear that Nigeria is a poor freaking country? If you, let's say you make it 20% and the annual budget is about 7 billion and you take, 7 trillion or thereabout, and you take 20% of 7 trillion, that's going to give you about 1.4 trillion and just give to one sector, that means...
No. This year the budget is about, is over 16 trillion. Education has always been put at the lowest rung of the ladder in the priorities of this, of the leadership of this country, successive administration. And that is why ASU has always been agitated. They don't really think the education sector means much. It's anything that should engage their attention. where they want to put a lot of money most times in Nigerian successive administration is to put money into some bogus infrastructure that at the end of the day, look at the talk of power. Over $16 billion went into it under one administration. And can you see the power? So the issue is when you know that something is important, you give it priority. If I don't pay that money at once, I can pay it twice.
Okay, Prof, let's quickly.
And there are lots of leakages, a lot of looting still going on. So what I'm going to do, look, I have a plan on how to run an efficient budget, a budget that will be implemented more or less 100%. I call it budget implementation monitoring system. My budget will be monitored by all Nigerians, not budget IT, or what is the name of that NGO, because there will be a website where the releases to the MDAs will be posted on a quarterly basis. You know, Ministry of Finance releases money to ministries, departments, and agencies on a quarterly basis. So there will be a website where each agency of government.
Yeah, but Prof, do you need to, as a president, eventually, let's assume you are the president, do you need to get involved? Does the presidency or your government need to get involved? Isn't that a failure of the finance ministry, not to...
No. The finance ministry is still under me. Let me be done with what I'm trying to tell you. The president can get involved in everything because the buck stops at my table. I'm talking about accountability, transparency, a system that makes account. It's not about getting involved in anything. It's about you getting involved, the ordinary man on the streets, to see how much money goes into each agency of government on a quarterly basis, and to see a list of things those monies released on a quarterly basis are meant for. So if you see that the road that leads to your village is listed there as one of the things this quarter's money will be expended on, so you are there to monitor. And if by the end of that quarter, if nothing is done, and you see a remark at the end of the quarter that this has been done, and they mention that that road that leads to your village as 100% executed, then the onus is on you to blow the whistle and say it's not true. So that is what I'm saying. Corruption thrives in secrecy. That was why some people said there should be a freedom of information bill, which became a law, so that they will be able to go and find out what happened to this money, what happened to this other money. But what I'm saying is that you will be able to monitor how your money is being spent on a daily basis. What is bad in that?
Okay.
There will be in each agency of government, there will be a desk officer that will upload how much comes in this quarter and what is being spent on. What are the ongoing projects? Whether they were used to meet recurrent expenditure, to pay staff salaries, how much have gone into staff salaries. If it is a federal university, maybe they are building a new laboratory, or they want to acquire a new generating set, it will be there that out of this money, so amount is going for this, so amount is going for this, and at the close of that quarter, there should be a kind of roundup that this has been done, this has been done, this has been done. And if something is not yet completed, it will be carried over, it will also be remarked. So there will be nowhere. And if at the end of a quarter, you are not able to justify the money given to you, the Federal Ministry of Finance will have received a directive from the beginning that until you are able to justify the money release, the quarterly release of the last time, you are not to get another one. Because every country must devise a strategy of its own survival. Looting is our problem in this country. We just see budget upon budget. At the end of the year, they will not do anything with this money. Then last minute, they will now see how to share it. If we want to stop that, you must make it the business of everybody to see how money is coming into everywhere you may be interested in and how it is being spent.
Prof, let me quickly come there. Please, in 1 minute, I want you to answer the question that I posed to you before, but I think you jumped that question, which is on the third force.
Okay, what is the question?
Your party the party you're vying now, it's one of those parties that are under, and they are going ahead and having this discussion of third force. What is your view regarding the third force as a means of winning?
Public decision on third force. No. On third force, no. SDP is not part of the third force. I can assure you. I've engaged the leader, those who are the leadership of the party. I asked them that, are you ever going to buy this idea of collapsing your infrastructure and teaming up with some other parties to say you have a common candidate? They said no, that is not going to happen. And I don't believe in it. Okay, if you are a strong candidate,
so if you are a
strong candidate,
if you do not believe in it, Prof, if you do not believe in it, what strategy then, apart from getting the people in the academia, which is, as you said, is your backbone, what strategy are you going to? I mean, obviously, you know how many millions that you need to win election in Nigeria coming 2023 with the introduction of beavers. A lot of things are not going to be possible anymore. That means more is needed. How are you going to do it? If there is
no way my brother,
come together with others.
I have a lot of things going for me. As Femi Olufunmilade, I've got a lot of things going for me. I was part and parcel of the formation of AD, Alliance for Democracy. The network I had in AD when I worked with Bola Ige, who was the center of gravity of Alliance for Democracy. The network are still there all over Yoruba land. They are the ones sharing my posters. They are the ones forming their own respective units of Professor Olufunmilade Support Organization, POSO. It's all over Yoruba land, the Southwest, and it's moved to other parts of the country. So that layer of network is there. Then the CPC network, Congress for Progressive Change, when I work with General Muhammadu Buhari, many of them are dissatisfied with the way things have gone under the APC administration. And don't forget, in 2010, I was the one who coordinated what we call needs assessment research. That is, what are the needs of each community, each state in Nigeria? Members of the Buhari Support Organization, which I rechristened Buhari Osinbajo Support Organization, are in all the 36 states and the FCT. They were the ones that carried out the data collection for me in each of those states, and which we then analyzed and we submitted to Buhari the particular or peculiar needs of each state, which he would use to campaign when he visits that state. For instance, I remember when he was to go to Cross River, one of the things I told him was to say the issue of Bakassi Peninsula will be revisited. When he was going to Ekiti State, I said, you should tell them that a situation where whenever they need anything federal, they will run to Abuja will end, because he's going to establish a federal secretariat in Ekiti. So the network, the people that did that for me, they are there. Because when they talk about structure, it's human beings you are talking about that are available, that are politically astute. I have them. And then the SDP you are talking about, don't underestimate it. SDP is one party in Nigeria that may not be in power at any level, but has offices in all states of the Federation and has chapters up to world level, including
so
Southeast.
The question then, Prof, is if they are this strong and they have these offices all over, why hasn't it translated to them being being elected at any level in Nigeria?
Well, the mentality of many Nigerians is that unless you go to the dominant party,
no, but we have the YPP. We have the YPP as young as YPP.
Some of them win. Let me tell you, some of them win, and after winning, somehow they migrate to. They just use it as a stepping stone. But I want to tell you, I've done my own work, and I've given you facts. Now, I'm not just talking of sentiments about the party itself. I studied the party before I got into it. And that was why I zeroed it. And that, the other time I ventured to come out, it was still the same party. So I know the structure of all these small parties. None has the network of SDP. And it's not a new name. It's not a new name in Nigerian politics.
That's fine.
And the grassroots, it resonates with them. When you go to illiterate communities and you tell them, Egbe election, Yoruba land, that the party with yours, they say, Egbe Abiola, no, that's MK Abiola's party. So and that matters, communication.
Okay.
So it's not new.
That's fine.
So it has what it needs. It needs somebody with my kind of vibrancy, somebody that understands the game. And in terms of money, let me tell you, I'm not a fool. I have set my tentacles around. I know the kind of money that is needed, but it may not be more than 1/4 of what PDP or APC needs.
That's fine.
But
Prof,
by the time I get the ticket,
we are running out of
game
time.
will change.
Prof, we are running out of time here. I understand you have the next this thing to join. Now, let me ask you this question. I did have this conversation with Chief Dr. Dele Momodu in one of the programs, the last program that I had with him on this series. We talked about the true owners of Nigeria and their endorsement of those who emerge presidential candidates. Now, the question is, if that assertion that he made is true, I mean, we know the true owners of Nigeria, quote unquote, the way he puts it. Have you consulted any of these people he classified as the owners of Nigeria? Have they given you their blessings that you are going to be emerging the next candidate?
Mazi, let me tell you from my own experience, you and I are the owners of Nigeria. The man on the street, we are all the owners of Nigeria because we all carry one vote. Some people are influential, I can say that. That's why you see candidates approaching some traditional rulers, some retired former head of states, some big businessmen, some labor union leaders, maybe who are retired and influential. So as far as consultation is concerned, some even go as far as meeting some church leaders. They will say, it's church. They run into his members are running to 30 million. Oh, you have to visit him. And they do. So as far as that is concerned, I'm also doing my own. I'm doing my own. But you see, most of these are not things you have to be making a public show. The other time I wanted to come out, for instance, I met with former President Goodluck Jonathan on June 18. On June 12th, and I had a 5-hour chat with him. And then he told me something about, yes, you are doing the right thing, that this type of consultation with me, now I know you, that there are influential people also like me that needs to know you. That is when you visit them, that they will know you. Okay. And I also said he believed I'm a serious candidate because of the things I told him. So okay. As far as that is concerned, one will be doing that. But I want to tell you, there is nothing like owner of Nigeria in 2023. Nigerians are going to take ownership of their country if it had ever been in anybody's hand.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof, for that straightforward answer. Now, Prof, you are a professor and you are hoping and to garner most of your vote from the academia. Now, but let's
not all. That is my catchment area. That is my base.
That's your catchment area.
In addition to my party.
Yes, that's your catchment area. But that's they not only those who are well educated are Nigerians. But that brings me to the next segment of this conversation, where we move to the streets. Now, Prof, na street, I dey drag you enter so. You na professor. You na lecturer. You na the director of Buratai Center for Security Studies, or how they call them. As it be so, Prof, if we go for Northeast, people they die. You come to the Yoruba land, they kill, they wire people anyhow. You come North, Southeast, this story, not the same thing. As you be Prof now, Nigerians watching us globally will be thinking, no be grammar, this man they blow. This man no they understand our language. Can you tell Nigerians now, say, as you day here, what is it you could do for them as regards to the joblessness, the job where they not get, as regards to the insecurity? Nobody say safe. Okay. And come top what you could do in 2 minutes regarding the economy too.
As for the killing where they go on for Nigeria from north to south, east to west, I myself, I'm a victim. because he get one of our staff, Kevin Sebekai, where this X-Men kill. He get one of my colleagues, Shoilola, who the X-Men, they kidnap him. We go look for money sote to rescue him. Look, these people where they kill up and down. Now one thing they carry, where me and you no carry, now gone. All those community where they border side, where then they enter, carry human picking like then they carry snail. I go give them short-term training, where no go past 1 month, and we go give them weapon. Those where they responsible in those community, we won't be volunteer. We go give them the gun, and we go give them training on the things where they're supposed to know when they fight with gun, so that all these bandits, they get blood for their body. When they know say that community, the people where they harmed, they no go trouble them again. So that is one thing where I go do. Within 3 months where I come to power, I go do that one. For the long term, I go create state police. Each state supposed get their own police. Where people where go, the people where go be police, then go be people where they talk the language of that community, where understand that community. So when they employ my brother, your own brother, to protect our own community, they no go fold their arms, see killers enter, and they no go do something. But when you carry one Femi from Ibadan, you carry and go to Sokoto, outside no sabi, Fulani no sabi, you say me go do police work there. You carry Salisu from Kano, you carry am go Enugu. I'm robber the talk, where in the drink beer, you no understand. So now that kind of thing be part of our problem for Nigeria. Each state will get police, and the police no be the one where governor go they take harass people. Guideline go dey. Anybody wey mess up with police, he go face them. That is why. Then in terms of the job where you not go do, even this police where we say we go allow me them create, no be job. No be all these young boys where they able body where no get job go dey there. Then go dey there. And when security come dey, many people where don't abandon farm now, then go there. And then the money where we go to support farming. A lot of people go see farming as something way good. Then go there. We go put money for agro processing. Where when you process to plant tomato, your tomato come plenty past the one where they fit sell for market. Those way go buy them off takers, where go process them into tomato puree. Then go day. So because anytime you can even go to your farm in the night, insecurity no go day. Nigeria go come there as the day before. So many of these things, then they interlink with one another. But insecurity na bibaba. Now there we go start.
Prof, if I say this street, now there where you talk, matter finish. Now there you don't talk the matter finish. Now let's come back to real life, Prof. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for escorting me to the street. Now, Prof, you are a man who believes in equity, right?
Yes.
Now, the question, and maybe we'll be rounding up with this question, is, do you believe that come 2023, in as much as you are in this race, that concessions should be made for the people of Southeast to produce the next president based on equity?
Well, I believe in equity, but you see, I'm a Yoruba man. And when you talk about Yoruba people having spent their own time, I want to tell you, many of them are they feel sad, because the man that you use as your example, that, oh, Obasanjo has spent the Yoruba term, they didn't vote for him. They didn't want him. Their belief was that he was coming to serve the agenda of conservative forces in the country. Issue of restructuring, which was dear to their heart, he did not touch it as president. And that was why that issue remains unresolved till today. Even Lagos State that ventured into, imagine Lagos State has 20 local governments. And local government is what they use to share money in this country. And Lagos State produces 56% of VAT in this country. And now you have Kano with 44 local governments, after Jigawa had been carved out, and Jigawa has 20-something. And then you think that is fair and equitable? So Lagos State government went ahead and created some local development areas, some sort of local government. It was this same Obasanjo that said they have done the unthinkable. And we tell the local government funds, till he left office, he did not allow Lagos State funds to go to them. And yet, you say that that man has served the tenure that of the Yoruba people. So when you say that, a lot, if Yoruba man wants to be courteous with you, you will say, well, you are okay. You are right in saying that about the Igbos. Obviously, we've not had of an Igbo being president in this country, except to Rosi, who spent just 6 months.
Sorry,
but when you are talking of the consequence,
his inability to do those things you mentioned, does that make him not to be a Yoruba man?
He was not voted. They didn't want him.
By the Yorubas.
He did not want. He didn't even win his ward. I was in the campaign with Paul Genao in Eddie. Even his ward, he did not win. He didn't win anywhere in Yoruba land. He didn't win a single ward in Yoruba land. What does that tell you? And you said the Yoruba produced president. Many of them, when you say it, I know what they talk. They say it's not to just aggravate our friends. We don't hear. It's true. Now our candidate, they keep quiet. They are not happy. What were the things that the Yoruba wanted that he did?
Now,
apart from the fact that Adi himself, he didn't give a damn because they didn't vote for him.
Okay, Prof, if
having said that, let me now answer the other side of it. We know that they talk of a tripod in Nigeria, that Nigeria stands on a tripod. Oh, Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo. Even though I don't believe in that tripod, because even when they talk of Wazobia, my sense of justice, normally when NTA, after news, in those days, they would say, Okwamalafia, Kachifonu, Odaro. I would say, how would you want the Ibibio man to feel? How would you want the man from Ibiraland to feel? The Benin man, are we the only people? So, but if indeed what we have is a tripod, I am all for an Igbo man to be president of Nigeria in 2023, and I will be willing to even yield the turf to him if I see that that Igbo man commands a lot of enthusiasm and support from the vast, the generality of Nigerians. He appears to be a popular person, like the late MKO Abiola, somebody that has a national appeal. And we know that he's a man who loves people. He will serve people. I will persuade all those who are following me that let's do our best to get this man there.
Prof, I promise
you that one.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but based on what you just said now, hypothetically speaking, who in the Igbo nation do you think fits that bill that you just spoke about? Prof, are you there?
I'm in the race. So that makes it difficult for me to venture into answering this type of question, because that is what people will hang on to. Some will say this man is not serious. He's already marketing.
Okay, we don't want to get into name dropping.
But I've talked to you that if we have someone who is nationally accepted and is really loved, and we have that conviction that he will put smile on the faces of the common people. That is what I want too. That's what I want. I will put in after all, Rob Buhari is not Yoruba, is not Igbo. He's from the far north there that have been in power for a long time. But because I felt this man, notwithstanding that is from the north that have been in power for so long, he appears to be a good man. He doesn't tolerate corruption. He's a disciplinarian. He will turn things around, and the country will be a better place for everyone. That was why I followed him. That was why. So I'm still myself.
Prof, thank you very much for that. We will be rounding up now. But before I leave you, Prof, you mentioned that people could go to your website and take the book you've written on how you intend to govern Nigeria. Prof, can you tell us which website is that so that people will know where to get the book?
Okay, it's still being developed, but it is available all the same there. www.femiforpresident.com. Femi, the 4 is in figure.
Okay.
Not in alphabet. www.femiforpresident.com.
So, viewers, you've heard it. You can go to the website Femi for President. There you will see his thoughts on what he intends to do if elected. Sadly, as we are speaking, Prof, Nigeria just happened to you, and you are now.
Yes, you can see. So I just hope the inverter, they will put on the inverter now. Then okay. I will move to the. Yeah, so thank you, sir.
So Prof, your final, in your concluding thought here, can you tell us again, what is it that you're telling to Nigerians watching you now to do in order to ensure that you are, you emerge the candidate of your party?
I want them to reach out to me and let us work together. I can't do it alone. I'm offering myself because I believe I'm good enough. I know the problems of the country. I'm a political scientist. I understand what is wrong with various sectors of the country, and but I cannot do it alone. The common people, the ordinary Nigerian, the concerned Nigerian home and abroad, it is they that are, it is in their interest. I'm out to salvage things. So whatever support they can give by way of campaigning, by way of funding my campaign, I will be so glad to have them on board. And if you don't mind, if they get to my website, they will also see other means of contact. But if you don't mind, I can tell them a WhatsApp number that they can use, 08037644582. Once again, 08037644582. God bless.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much for being my guest today. Sir. And everyone, it is still the State of the Nation series, a one-on-one conversation with Professor Femi Olufunmilade. For many of you who are here at the beginning, as I introduced him, Professor Femi Olufunmilade is a professor of international relations and strategic studies, director, Buratai Center for Contemporary Security Affairs, and he is also the 2023 presidential aspirant, Social Democratic Party, the SDP. Prof, thank you once more. It's an honor to have you here. And on that note, I will say thank you, everyone, for joining me. Next week, Saturday, I will be having Sowore here with me. And on the 20th, I will be having Pius here. We will keep them coming. Okay? So everyone, on that note, I will say have